The kids are going wild, moshing, kicking, dancing, as they listen to their favorite bands, from Rabo Cojo to Dan Ciego, and more. They love their scene and wouldn't trade it for anything. Friends. Friends sit in tables discussing their lives, some doing better than others. They don't say this to each other, but they feel it. And instead of causing a whole discussion about who's got it worst, they opt to drink away, as it is one of the few things they did back in the day that they can still do now. He lost it. He lost it, and the poem was going so good too. He lost it and proceeded to insult the audience. He lost it and sat down to read a poem which would finish his set. Change. This bar has changed a lot. I remember when it had 2 floors. Now it only has 1, and the stuff that was over there is now down here. It doesn't look bad, but it feels different. The paint in front is different too. The one in the back too. The stage area not so much though. But I've heard it a few changes of its own. Time brings changes, and I guess La Tertu had to change as well. Singer. I had been waiting anxiously to see her sing again, and when she did, man, did it caught my attention. It was only for a few minutes, but she caught me in a trance that felt eternal, and her smile at the end was a nice little touch, too. Poetry Slam inspired rhymes. Last Friday there was an open mic, Poetry Slam for the first time, at least for me, young poet wannabe MC, hijo de cuatro pueblos, mainly the SGs. Everybody spitting fire, making someone retire, others fuel to work harder. Next time I'll make sure I'm the starter. Setting the blaze up in blazes, making people cover their faces, but with upon me their gazes, 'cause they never heard such phrases. Last Friday's slam sure was a thrill ride. Wednesday will be different, people will fight. But that doesn't matter, I got a point to prove. To be great at this, you gotta have your own groove. Stop pretending to be something that you're not. That type of shit will get your face covered in snot. So anyway, be who you are if you really wanna go far. Sudor. El sudor viaja en el aire mientras la juventud baila, brinca y mochea al ritmo de la música. 3 minutos. Esta noche nos dejamos sentir, nos soltamos, nos liberamos, lo dejamos todo en el aire porque en estos tiempos de caos hay que formar espacios para expresarse. Espacios para tener aunque sea 3 minutos donde vomitamos el pensar y alguien nos escuche. Porque es necesario. De verdad que es necesario. Los jíbaros. Llegaron los jíbaros de Moca a levantar conciencia, a levantar los pies de aquellos que no le aguantan la mierda a nadie, a bombear a aquellos que no se quitan, a soltarle el estrés a los luchadores que defienden la tierra y lo dejan todo por ella. En fin, a ayudar la causa de la mejor manera que ellos saben, a través de la música. A los ritmos de la bajura. Cuerpos sudados, bailando hasta abajo, todo gozando, flashes en el aire, alcohol en el piso, saliva transmitida, sudor esparcido, corbata en la cabeza, todo hasta abajo a los ritmos de la bajura. Despejarse de la crisis. Some headbang, otros bailotean, unos beben, otros fuman, muchos ríen, ninguno llora, solo quieren despejarse de la crisis. Over. Dices que no te fuiste over, pero te fuiste over, brother. Estaba insoportable, hablando por los codos, incoherencias que me tenían loco, con ganas de darte en el coco, para ver si te callaba. Pero eso no haría nada, porque estaba over. Super duper mega duper over, brother. La cosa está melaza. La juventud bebe y fuma, headbobean y bailan, hablan, rapean y cantan, suben y bajan en el 7º piso de un orange edificio, todo listo para lo previsto, el release del mixtape on this Thursday, hip hop en el aire, llégale, cáele, no tengas miedo, rompe el hielo, sal de tu casa, la cosa está melaza. con dolores en el cuerpo. El mosheo intenso complementado por una pelea, alcohol y cigarrillos nos lleva a comer pinchos para calmar el cuerpo y mañana despertarnos con dolores en el cuerpo. Sal del piso. La juventud se vuelve loca, bailando, gritando, mochando, dejándolo todo en el piso. Otros se quedan quietos, tiesos y se enojan, porque por poco reciben un puño en la cara. Pero esto es un mocheo, un tornado donde el cuerpo se manifiesta y se desata. Ráfagas de puños, empujones y patadas al aire que pueden terminar en peleas. Así que si tienes el peligro, mejor sal del piso y deja que otros se vayan con el ritmo. Cariños. Hace tiempo no venía este carrito, uno de mis favoritos, comprando pinchos a precios bajitos, pero saben sabrosito. Mi gente, los felicito y les doy gracias por su contribución a la patria. Once again, gracias por llenar esta panza, que luego de un show necesita comida para seguir con el flow y llegar a casa con vida. Para que mañana no sean tan difícil. I sit in this chair, mics on the head, siempre PR on the chest, Dan Ciego on the head, enjoying the Spotify playlist currently playing. I'm a little tired, I'll admit it. Tomorrow's a long day of work, and I should be resting, but I want to have a good spot when the funky music starts. So I sit in this chair and try not to get tired, para que mañana no sea tan difícil. Una noche con los yayas. Se mueven los pies al ritmo de los yayas, la gente grita y se deja ir, la libertad de expresión reina hoy, los cuerpos se sueltan, las mentes no piensan, todo está de gratis hoy, la juventud se examina una a la otra buscando víctimas con quien tener sexo esta noche, donde liberan el estrés de María, donde se sueltan por completo, empezando nuevas vidas. There is still loneliness. Despite the vast amount of friends and people, there is still loneliness. There she sits. There she sits with a beer in hand, and up goes the smoke of another tree as smooth Latin jazz plays the soundtrack of the night, and she looks at her surroundings, filled with youthful people looking to have fun in any way imaginable, and junkies looking for a buck for their next fix. Pero es largo. I stand in front of an audience, most are audience, very little are poets waiting to express themselves, but at least they're here. This is the second straight week where I do an open mic. Last week was more of a circle. This bar setting is different, but I've been here. This may not be the best open mic I've organized, pero algo. Daniel's superpower. Ahí estaba hablando y charlando con mis friends, esperanza en el piso pensando que nadie más llegaría. So when the clock hit 10, we just started our open mic. Sung here, sung there, poems too. And it wasn't until Daniel's comedy that it started getting full. And suddenly, cinco pelagatos turned into a corillo of 30 plus, and over 15 people performing, y todo se dio bueno, y la noche se pasó chévere. Ya son 5. Part 1. Ya son 5 años de esta pendejada, 5 años abriendo espacios para que la gente se exprese de la manera que les salga. Poesía, música, comedy, history lesson, teatro, baile, all is welcome. We are all ears, we are all eyes. Llégale a Vox, exprésate y déjate saber. Part 2. Llega un corillo enorme y la felicidad me entra. Es la primera vez que organizo este evento y se da tan bueno. No puedo contener mi sonrisa y decirle gracias a todos cada vez que agarro el mic. Part 3. La artista se suelta en el canvas, cada letra y cada verso que sale de la boca de un poeta es un deslizamiento, formando parte de una pieza nunca antes vista, pero que va tomando forma. Al final de la noche, esta obra no ha sido finalizada, pero es un comienzo, un inicio a lo que podría ser una joya. Part 4. Los poetas terminan, el hip hopeo nos conecta y headbobeamos. Versos que entran a la mente y ritmos que conquistan el ambiente. Todo chill, todo laid back. Unas gracias para cerrar el set de un rey y abrir el espacio a un dios del baile. Nos quedan muchos, pero esos pocos menean sus cuerpos a la música electrodisco, como lo hicieron sus ancestros a la bomba, el bolero, la salsa, disco y merengue. La juventud sandunguea como hicieron con el reggaetón en esos parties de high school, sudando todo tipo de líquido consumido en noches oscuras, y luego cuando el reloj dice 1:40 AM, la música termina y la noche también. The Lady in White. She sits there, the lady in white, with a drink in hand, checking her phone, admiring the environment, digesting the music, looking for a prey for her sexual prowess. There she sits, the lady in white. Blue lights. We arrive and there's nothing but cops y la perse comienza. At first we hesitate and wait for a minute before approaching our destination, and when we arrive there's barely anybody. But there are blue lights everywhere and we are scared but maintaining our cool. Apparently there was a fight earlier or something close to it. Thankfully it didn't escalate to anything serious and we are able to enjoy the night. But it remains on my mental. I was just there taking pictures, filming videos, dancing to the funk, and then you tapped my shoulder and we said hi and we winked at each other and then we went back to our own. But I just had to see you once again, so I looked at you enjoying the dance with your friends, and I had to capture that moment, and I could tell you were having fun, because you looked at me and smiled. Sadly, I couldn't capture that smile, but it remains on my mental. Dancing Demigod. The dancing was going good, it was all fantastic, but then the music got more intense, more funky, more sexy, and people had to step aside as the gods and goddesses gave you the energy to dance even more and leave it all out there like a dancing demigod, quickly inspiring others to do the same. Stranger. I've been here before multiple times, but today I feel like a stranger. I barely know anybody, even though I know a few, but even they have their own agendas. And so I stand here analyzing everything and learning before you take the stage and make me proud. Pa' poder respirar. No creo que había visto la tertulia tan llena o quizás fue percepción, pero casi no podía caminar. So tuve que salir un rato para poder respirar. I hope you enjoy Indiana. Last night we said goodbye to you. It will be the last time we will see you in a while, especially for Kay. She's moving to Texas and we might not see her for an even longer while. But last night we said goodbye to you for a while. We took pictures, enjoyed poetry, enjoyed music, and had some beautiful conversations, sharing laughs and tears. I hope you enjoy Indiana and everything that comes with it. Appreciation. Young artists come and express themselves. They let everything out there, their thoughts, ideas, and emotions, while others listen. Yes, they listen and internalize. They digest it all, and later cheer at the act of bravery they've just witnessed. Maya Wasted. Part 1. Los músicos montan y la gente charla mientras que la flaca suena en el background. Escribo versos para despejar la mente de mi estómago soplado que no me deja existir, ni siquiera caminar. Es una situación que podía tener remedio, una situación que pudo haber sido controlada / evitada. Pero eso es lo que pasa cuando comes mucho y tomas mucha agua. Te excedes y luego no sabes qué hacer con tu vida. Part 2. Los azules rodean la calle verificando que todo esté bajo control, todo chilling, todo tranquilo y cualquier otro sinónimo que quieras usar. Y todo está bajo control, chilling, tranquilo. El pueblo disfruta su viernes, distrayéndose de las preocupaciones del diario vivir, aunque sea por unas horas. Part 3. No es común que me pase escribiendo en una barra, pero lo veo atractivo. La gente, la música, las luces, la energía, todo forma parte de una nueva expresión plasmada en el papel o digital, así formándose parte de una larga colección de pensamientos. Part 4. I talked to one of my younger brothers. We let each other know how much we love each other, not directly, but through our art, and we embrace as psychedelic space rock showers our surroundings. Part 5. I look at one of my younger brothers and I can't help but admire how easy it is for him to spread love into everyone around him. Part 6. I remember putting you guys onto this music back when I was your instructor, and now, when we are just friends who can happily talk to each other and have fun, I see you enjoying it live as we dance and headbang together as members of our larger community of artists and fans. Part 7. You guys rock and roll your way through the night, transmitting energy that gets others to do the boogie woogie, while Savvy shreds the guitar like Angus and shakes his body like Iggy. And boy, what a sight to see. So many cheerful faces, so many happy faces, after such a hellish week of work. And it's all thanks to you. And for that I toast to you, Grumpa. May you come back and provide more love and cheer into our lives. Part 8. I headbanged so much I can't stand the pain, but it was all fucking worth it. Cause you guys bring the best out of anybody. When you play like a duo of madmen, slapping the shit out of that bass and banging the shit out of those drums, quickly interacting with the crowd, providing shots of tequila, and a weapon of expression in the form of percussion while you improvising the drums and with the pedals, creating some psychedelic space noise madness that would make gods proud. Part 9. I'm still surprised nobody got hurt. The mosh pit got pretty intense in a small place. It was a whirlwind of punching, shoving, jumping, and dancing as Formio performed their mathematically elaborated pieces of punk-influenced fuck outta here progressive rock, and it was beautiful. A sight to see for anybody who's a fan of live music. It was my first time seeing you, and man, how I wish it hadn't. But I'm still thankful, so I embraced you when you finished, and provided my gratitude, because it isn't common to see such a spectacular and crowd-friendly performance for little to no money. Part 10. Esta noche no era apta para cardíacos, y les doy gracias a los tres, Grumpa, Danciego, Campoformio. Gracias por una de las mejores noches que he vivido. The place was empty. The place was empty due to lack of promotion. The place was empty due to lack of conversation. The place was empty due to academia. The place was empty, but it didn't stop the moshing. Inspiration. It had been a while, bro. It had been a while, and it was nice to catch up after so much time. You tell me stories of your past endeavors, some of which are undesirable. But those future endeavors show determination, and that's what truly matters, as you become a form of inspiration for anybody with the same aspirations. A child. Your reaction was the most beautiful thing I received all day. You are a man, but for a moment, you were a child. I had never seen you like this. I had never seen you like this. I guess you have grown, or maybe the semester has been a bitch for you, so you needed to let it out. You didn't deserve this. You didn't deserve this. The results of miscommunication, the results of poor organization. It was just a Wednesday. It was just a Wednesday, but the youth were wild. It was just a Wednesday, but the youth were drunk. It was just a Wednesday, but the youth were doing drugs. It was just a Wednesday, but the youth were ready to fuck. It was just a Wednesday, but the youth just didn't give a fuck. It was just a Wednesday, and their semester was over. It was just a Wednesday, and they just wanted to let loose. It was just a Wednesday. It was just a Wednesday. Surf rock and off. Bailando a ritmos de surf rock y poco a poco me doy cuenta que estoy viejo porque ya el cuello no aguanta, porque ya las rodillas no me dan. Me voy y el dolor es insoportable. Me levanto el día después y el dolor es insoportable. Solo tengo 27 y ya me siento de 72. Pero eso es mi culpa porque tampoco hago ejercicio y me paso sentado todos los días escribiendo y cogiendo calor y fresco en los huevos. Me hace falta hacer ejercicio para poder evitar sentirme como aquella noche de surf rock and off. pa no morir en el camino. I sit here, fall asleep, hoping to see friends play, pero no se puede, el sueño me conquista, y tomo vuelo en mi 2004 Toyota Corolla, escuchando Wiki, pa no morir en el camino. A beautiful chaos. There are little experiences in life that really touch you and motivate you to do something with your life. Last Thursday was one of those days for young Michael. It was his first rock show, and to be honest, he didn't know what to expect. He was just there because he had invited Gloria, his first college crush, to go out. La Tertulia was a regular place for his brother Tony, so naturally he told Mikey, as he was called by his loved ones, that La Tertulia was the spot. Boy, was Mikey wrong. Mikey liked to have a drink every now and then. Heck, he had a few beers and shared a joint with Gloria that same night. Everything was going well. It seemed that Mikey and Gloria would end up exchanging bodily fluids that night. But once they started watching the bands, Mikey was lost. The first band, Los Surfers, had caught Mikey's ear. They were okay. And then came the second band. Their name was DS. They were two guys, a bassist and a drummer. Two skinny dudes that seemed as harmless as a twig. And then they started to play. Mikey and Gloria were getting into it. A little kiss here and then in between drinks. But then a mixture of noise and punk caught Mikey's attention. "What is that?" he asked Gloria as he took a puff of the joint they shared. "DS, they're from Maya," she replied. Mikey had never heard anything like it before. It was beautiful. He had to check it out. He ran to the bar. Gloria finished the joint and followed. People moshing, jumping, dancing, and headbanging like crazy was all that Mikey saw as soon as he entered La Tertulia. It was a completely new environment. It was chaos. It was beauty. It was a beautiful chaos. "Am I in the Fury Road?" he asked Gloria as he approached the stage area with caution not to get punched or kicked from the mosh pit. "Stay here, you don't want to get hurt," she told him, but he was too invested. He let go of her hand and went in. He started headbanging, and as the energy in the room intensified with each and every fast-paced riff and drum beat, he couldn't help but let loose, eventually joining the mosh pit and getting a few punches in the process, but also earning a few friends. And then it happened, the moment that changed his life. The last song from the DS's repertoire involved them taking the drum set apart, eventually having it be a part of the mosh pit where members of the audience were given drumsticks and were encouraged to play. Mikey was one of these newfound drummers. He beat that drum until he couldn't do it anymore, while the bassist played with the bass's pedals and another audience member randomly played the bass. Claps, and while yelling all around, it was as if a huge ball of stress was released by the entire audience. Mikey couldn't stop smiling. When DS finished organizing the equipment, he couldn't help but hug and thank them for such an experience. When he stepped out of the bar, he noticed Gloria sitting alone with a drink in hand. He approached and told her he was sorry. "Take me home," she said after taking a quick sip of her beer. She wasn't having it, and he could understand why. But he didn't mind it. That night, he found out something about himself. He wanted to be a musician, specifically a drummer. And while that didn't seem like the profession he would see himself doing in the future, it was certainly the one he wanted to start practicing at the moment.